Sarah told me those babies aren't hers. Now James spoke up. You are unbelievable. How could you cheat on me? I can't stand you anymore. I want a divorce. I'm not paying for child support. With that, he shoved the divorce papers in front of me. I was so angry and disgusted. I never imagined he would do something so foolish. Fine, let's get a divorce. I took the papers and filled out my part. Here you go. My name is Anna. I'm 32 years old and a stay-at-home wife. I met my husband James through a blind date. He was close to my age and I liked how he looked. I was attracted to him right away and he seemed to like me too. We started dating and after a year we got married. We were so happy as newlyweds. But that happiness didn't last long. There was one person who ruined our newly life, my mother-in-law. She came over to our house a lot during the day, and she would treat me badly. Anna, carry my bag. My mother-in-law would show up at our house without calling first and ask me to carry her luggage into the living room. She'd say, "This is my special bag, be careful with it." "Okay, Linda." And when I put her bag down gently on the sofa, she'd say, "You should at least offer me some tea and call me a thoughtless wife." Why was she so rude when she came over uninvited? James is kind, but my mother-in-law is so mean. It was disappointing to see how different they were. My mother-in-law started coming over every day. It was really bothering me, so I decided to talk to James. "Hey, your mom has been coming over every day lately. Can you ask her to come less often?" James looked surprised. "What? Mom comes over during the day." I couldn't believe James was surprised. I thought he would agree with me, but his response was different. "Why doesn't she stay until I get home?" "You should have asked her to stay until I'm back. You should have been more thoughtful." I was shocked. I never thought he would say something like that. Plus, thoughtful was the exact word my mother-in-law always used. It felt like James was still a mama's boy. "No, it's because your mom is here too much." "It's fine. I'll call my mom. You should treat her well when she's here." James said that and ignored my feelings. After that, my mother-in-law was even worse. She treated me badly, like she could say whatever she wanted to me. "You're so slow, aren't you? You're terrible at housework and cooking. What kind of upbringing did you have?" She came over every day, stayed for dinner with James at night, and then left. It was tough, but I still loved James. I didn't think about divorce. Then my mother-in-law started asking, "Are there any grandkids yet?" We'd only been married a little over a year, but she wanted grandchildren right away. She was really pressuring me. I felt so stressed out. I started feeling down every day, so I asked James for advice. "Hey, your mom keeps asking me if I'm having babies yet. It's really hard for me." But, as I expected, James didn't seem to care. "Well, with how old my mom is, she must want to see her grandchildren. You should try your best to meet her expectations." I knew that, but why did he have to say it like that? "Wait, pregnancy is between you and me, right? I can't get pregnant by myself. Lately, my husband hasn't been helping at all. When I try to ask him out, he says he's too tired. He refuses to sleep with me because his mom is over, and he talks with her late into the night. I don't understand why he's blaming me for this. He doesn't care about me anymore and just says whatever he wants. You're just a lazy housewife, always complaining. You should be more grateful." It was James who wanted me to be a housewife. He told me he wanted me to stay home after we got married. So how could he say that? I started losing trust in James. The more we were married, the more I saw the bad side of him. The kindness he had shown when we were dating was completely gone. Now, he and my mother-in-law insult me every time we eat together. "You're not just inconsiderate, but useless. You can't have children. You really are useless. James, you should just get rid of her and move on. I'll find another young woman who can give me children." I couldn't believe he would say something like that right in front of me. Little by little, I started thinking about divorce. Then, I suddenly got sick. I went to the hospital, and to my surprise, I found out I was pregnant. I immediately told my mother-in-law and James. My mother-in-law said, "Well, you're finally pregnant. Good for you." She was surprisingly nice, while James' reaction was cold. "I see you're having a baby. Aren't you happy?" "Yes, I'm happy." James didn't seem very excited. He had blamed me for not being able to have a child, so what was going on? I was shocked, but getting the divorce while pregnant didn't seem like a good idea. Even though James was like this, he was still the main provider since I was a full-time housewife. So I decided not to get divorced until after I gave birth. Thankfully, my mother-in-law didn't bully me during my pregnancy. I guess she was trying to avoid causing me stress, which could hurt the baby. That means she had been intentionally rude to me before. But I'm glad she isn't causing trouble while I'm not feeling well. What really bothered me was James' behavior. After I got pregnant, he didn't harass me as much, but he started coming home later and working more on weekends. He was always on his phone, sometimes smiling and typing messages. Could he be cheating? I started to feel suspicious of James, so I hired a private investigator. A few weeks later, the results came back. Sure enough, James was having an affair with someone at work. Whenever James worked overtime and didn't want dinner, he was meeting his lover. When he worked weekends, he was with her. He even went on trips with her while telling me he was on business trips. I was shocked by all the evidence. I no longer loved James. After I had the babies, I would divorce him. I had made up my mind. Then I found out I was having twins. I was both surprised and happy. I was so excited that I told James, "Hey, I went to the hospital today and we're having twins. Isn't that amazing? We couldn't have children, but now I'm going to be a mother of 2. But James' reaction was just as cold as ever. "Well, that's nice." "What do you mean nice?" I asked. I couldn't believe he responded like that. I didn't love him anymore, but I wanted him to at least care about our children. I guess that was asking too much. I decided not to talk to him anymore. My mother-in-law was surprised and happy when she heard we were having twins. "Anna, you did it. It's twins, and they're both boys." My mother-in-law had bullied me, but now I felt she was better than James. After that, James and I spent most of our time not speaking to each other. Every meal was silent. I didn't even want him to come home. I was living like this day after day. Then, the day came for me to have the babies. I decided to go to my parents' house to give birth. I told James that I was going home for a while. "Oh, okay," he said, and that was all. We didn't even have any casual conversation. I went to my parents' house and had a peaceful time. Although I had decided not to talk to James anymore, I got more and more annoyed every time I saw his face, so staying at my parents' house was less stressful. My parents were so happy about the twins. They said, "You're going to have a warm family, 2 kids at once. Isn't that exciting? They're boys, so they'll be lively every day." I didn't want to tell them about the divorce because they were so happy, but I eventually told them. "I'm sorry, but James and I are getting a divorce after the babies are born." My parents were shocked, but when I explained, they understood. My father looked furious. "I can't forgive that man for having an affair," he said, looking like he wanted to punch James in the face. I stopped my father and said I wanted to wait until after the birth. My parents agreed, and I gave birth to my beautiful twins without any problems. They were so cute, and my parents were overjoyed to hold them. Meanwhile, James ignored my calls during the birth. He didn't even show up at the hospital. When I was discharged, I went to the house we used to live in to pick up my things. It was Saturday, so James should have been home, unless he was with his lover. When I got there, I saw him and my mother-in-law. They both stared at me with angry looks. "You're such a __." Huh? I was surprised by my mother-in-law's words. "What are you talking about?" "James told me those babies aren't his." "What? You're a terrible woman. You tricked James into raising someone else's kids." "What are you saying?" I asked. Then James spoke up. "You're a horrible woman for having an affair. I can't stand you anymore. I want a divorce. And of course, I won't pay child support." With that, he shoved the divorce papers in my face. I was furious and disgusted. I had no idea he had been planning something so ridiculous. "Fine, let's get a divorce," I said, taking the papers and filling out my part. "Here you go." When I handed them to him, he looked a little surprised. He was probably shocked because I wasn't upset. You're admitting to your affair, you lassie __." My mother-in-law crossed her arms and glared at me. "I'm going to get my alimony. You need to pay me," I said. James looked confused as the conversation was going more smoothly than he expected. I added, "Oh, I'm the one who's getting the alimony." What are you talking about __?" he asked. "You had an affair. You're paying the alimony, you idiot. You don't even know anything, so please shut up." I silenced my noisy mother-in-law and laid out the proof of James' affair on the table. Seeing this, James turned pale. My mother-in-law, surprised, asked, "What do you mean?" "I think you've been having an affair with a younger woman for a long time, even before I got pregnant. You're the one who's been unfaithful, and I have proof." "Do you have proof I had an affair?" James asked. When I said this, James fell silent. "You don't, do you?" I pressed. "So those children are yours. Are you having an affair or not? Speak up." My mother-in-law, usually calm, raised her voice. "Didn't you see how upset I was when your father had an affair? And now you're doing the same thing." "I'm sorry," James apologized to her, as though admitting his guilt. I had no idea that his mother had divorced due to her own husband's infidelity. That made James even worse in my eyes. "I'm so sorry, Kate. My foolish son did something terrible. I'll make sure he pays for alimony and child support." Hey, Mom, don't make decisions without me," James protested. "Don't think you can just have fun. If you have an affair, you'll lose everything, your family and your relationship with me." James was shocked by his mother's words. I was grateful that my mother-in-law was on my side, but that didn't mean I forgave her. "You're right, this is unforgivable, but the stress from your past actions will never go away." "What?" James asked. "I have records of your emotional abuse. I've already filed a claim for mental distress. I'll also file for damages for moral harassment due to your actions." At this, James' eyes went wide. "That's not happening. How much do I owe you?" I replied, "Well, child support is about $100,000 and alimony is about $40,000. Oh no, if you add that up, it's $140,000. Good luck with that. Let's talk through our lawyers." I packed up my things and left. Through my lawyer, James and I successfully got a divorce. He and his mistress paid me a lump sum for alimony, and I also requested child support from him. Currently, he pays me about $600 per month. He fell deep into debt, and his lover dumped him. He was also cut off by his mother and now lives a lonely life, struggling to pay off his debts. Meanwhile, I returned to my parents' house. They helped me raise the kids. I found a new job and work hard every day. My twin sons are adorable and bring me so much joy. Just seeing their smiles gives me the energy to keep going. I will continue to work hard for them. Not only did James harass me, but he also had an affair. He's a real scumbag. I learned that his mother suffered from infidelity too, but instead of showing empathy, she bullied me. There's no excuse for that. I don't think I'll ever forgive her. I hope Kate, with her lovely sons, can move on to a happy life. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.